everybody, and welcome to another edition of Mr. Average Hockey Fan. But today, once again, it's Mr. Average UFC Fan, and I would like to talk about my top 5 favorite fighters. So really, my era for UFC has been like the past 10 years or so. I wasn't obviously a big fan of Tank Abbott, Hoist Gracie days. I've obviously seen them all. I'm rocking the old school shirt, as you can see. But I just like to talk about my top 5 fighters. Most of them are recent fighters. Some of them are throwbacks, though. My number one all-time favorite fighter, and maybe this has to do with me being Canadian, but honestly, it has to do a lot with style, story, how they came up. 100% George St. Pierre. This guy went from being homeless, sleeping on park benches, like nobody knew who he was. He just loved the sport. He decided to go out and train. He did what he had to do, to being an absolute beast, world champ. He's had a few ups and downs. He lost that fight way back in the day to Sarah, that big title fight after he eventually won the title. And he lost before that to Matt Hughes in his first match at a title fight. But other than that, he's been absolutely dominant. A lot of people think Johnny Hendrix beat him. Me personally, I think it was a draw, or George did pull it out on points. He did what he had to do. He did take a beating, but at the same time, Johnny Hendrix is a USADA era, pre-USADA era fighter, pre-USADA era champion who was clearly on steroids. Soon as USADA got implemented and he couldn't get away with it anymore, he would have had to hide under the mat and stuff from them. People coming to take his piss tests. He just fell off. He just wasn't the same. So clear what made Hendrix what he was. Look at the Matt Brown interview when he talks about how he fought Hendrix right before when he got on steroids, the strength and stuff. It's just so obvious. But that's my number one pick. My number 2 favorite fighter of all time. It's kind of been a toss up because Anderson got caught doing PEDs a few times, and he clearly did cheat, but I love Anderson Silva. When he came in, he was a beast. When he fucked up Lieben, when he fucked up Franklin, when he KO'd Vitor with that front kick, when he took Chael out in the last minute after being beat down for 5 rounds with that triangle choke. The guy was just great. Fun as hell to watch. Even when he beat Nick Diaz and that got overturned, no contest, whatever the hell it was. That was fun as hell to watch. One of the most amazing fighters. The things he can do are absolutely incredible, and his timing is impeccable. Stand up, he's the funnest to watch. Maybe next to like a Conor McGregor type, somebody like that, somebody that got the big bomb, or a Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. But number 3 is a fighter I actually just mentioned, Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor, he's had his ups and downs with me. He would have been number 1 on this list by far if he wasn't such a douchebag. But some of the racy things he's done, grabbing Jose Aldo's belt, talking about shit about Brazil, just going way too far, bringing up people's religion, insulting Khabib's family, calling him smelly Dagestani Muslim rat. That's way too far with it. That's beyond trash talk. That's racism, and that's just wrong in the sport. And if it wasn't for his antics outside the ring, he would be my number 1, because inside the octagon, he is my favorite to watch. He is absolutely awesome to watch. Win or lose, he's always in your face. He's always talking shit. He has an amazing style. The knockout of Aldo is insane. The way he made Poirier look like a bitch after all the shit he talks. The way he talks sometimes and actually does what he says he's going to do. He backs it up way more than Chael Sonnen ever did, which is why I personally like Conor. I can't stand Chael because he used to talk shit and not back it up. Rarely did he. He used to go around a fake belt, talk about how he was the champion. He lost the title shot. He got knocked out for everybody in Brazil. When he talks shit to all these people in Brazil, I don't understand it. I was never a Chael fan, but I love Conor, and it isn't because of the trash talk. It isn't because of the antics. It's because of his actual fighting ability and his skill. That's why I love Conor McGregor. For me, number 4 would absolutely have to be Frankie Edgar. The Gray Maynard 3 fight sold me on Frankie Edgar so much. He'll always be in my top 5 because of that. All those Gray Maynard fights, they're heart and soul, man. He is a beast. Like, you cannot put Frankie down unless you're Brian Ortega, apparently. But he's a beast. I love Frankie Edgar. He'll always be in my top 5. Always, always. At one point, I was going around calling him my favorite fighter. I was really on the Frankie hype train. When he lost at Benson Henderson, I thought it was complete bullshit in the second fight. I thought he did what he had to do, but that's just me. It could have just been a biased opinion the way I was looking at the fight. But I love Frankie Edgar. He is definitely up there. Heart and soul. He's the definition of a heart and soul. And for my number 5 guy, another really big heart and soul, and a throwback for sure, Diego Sanchez. Diego Sanchez has had his ups and downs. He looked a lot more dominant back in the day before the UFC became what it was, and real top-notch fighters broke onto the scene. Like, fuck the Tank Abbott days when guys that were like in porn and shit were getting into the UFC. It was crazy. They literally had a guy that like fucking, I forget what he did. He owned like a nude steakhouse restaurant. They let him fight because he provided octagon girls. That's an actual true story. Go look it up. But number 5 is definitely Diego. His time in the Ultimate Fighter, he won the Ultimate Fighter. He was dominant as hell. He was beast. He's had so many great wars. The Gilbert Melendez fight will go down in history as an absolute insane fight. The guy's just great. And he's been mauled on national TV in front of everybody. He's put his heart and soul out there and his blood, sweat, and tears. He's literally had his face fucking rearranged from being fighting. And he still loves it. He still wants it. He's still there every day talking shit in the media, looking for a fight. When Conor first got hot, he even wanted to fight Conor. We all know he would have got fucked up at that point. But man, I love Diego. You got to have nothing but respect for that guy. He is heart and soul. So anyways, those are my top 5. I know a lot of them are recent. Some people might have like throwback guys, like older guys. Some people like Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner and Rampages, and they'll bring up Pride fighters. For me, it's just UFC. If I was going outside of UFC, there would be other guys, but for me, Fedor would be on the list if I was going out UFC. That would be the other guy for sure. But for me, it's just UFC is what I'm talking about now. I'm rocking the old throwback, as you can see, Ultimate Fighting Championship. Strange and had none of those older guys on it. Fuck, what was they going to do? Put Tank Abbott under a Russian beer? Did you ever see that fight? It was absolutely horrible. They both, like, won from being gassed, and one dude laying his arm on another dude, and apparently one got tapped. It was terrible. It was the first fight I ever showed my wife, actually, and she was like, what the fuck are you watching? But, yeah, those are my top 5 picks. Hope you liked them. If you like this page, like and subscribe, drop a comment, because I'd really like to shoot the shit or talk shit if you want to talk shit. Have a good day. Bye.